I took a painting that I'd been working on since 2024, absolutely destroyed it, had a little cry, and then came back to turn it into one of my best paintings of all time. This is what I learned. Since it's the start of a brand new year, allow me to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Sano Eli, and I'm a freelance illustrator, designer, and small business owner of my art brand Prismacolor. And I've been going through a little bit of a slump throughout my life for the past, I would say, like 2 or so years now. But the painting that I'm planning on talking about and showing you guys throughout this video was honestly a really big catalyst in both my mental and artistic growth. And in my previous YouTube video, I did actually talk and show a lot of the beginning process of this painting. And I did go into a lot of detail about the beginnings of it and my thought process behind it. So if you're curious about that video and want to check out more about what I'm talking about, definitely go click the link up here, I think it would be. But definitely go check that previous video out because you will be able to see the very start, the very beginnings of this painting. The TLDR of this entire story is that I had this idea for a big, exciting painting that had finally challenged my artistic abilities with painting traditionally. I had always played it pretty safe with my traditional paintings. I'm not sure why, but I'd always opt for more minimal illustration concepts and rendering styles compared to how much more complex my digital art would typically be. If you're no stranger to my YouTube channel or any of my social media, then you probably already know about my tumultuous relationship with anxiety, depression, and ADHD. I like to inject my experiences and inner thoughts into every single art piece that I create. And of course, this painting was absolutely no different. Because of that, this challenge served as not only a symbol of my art, but of my mental and physical state as a whole. So when I accidentally dropped my canvas and the edge of my dinky old easel punched a fist-sized hole into it, after I'd already started working on the painting, of course, I couldn't help but feel like it was a brutal metaphor for my entire life. Now, don't worry, I did very quickly replace that old easel to prevent any other mishaps from happening in the future, but it still hurt like a biatch. Fast forward to 2025, and I finally decided to pick up that damn painting again. So help me if I'm going to let this really cool idea that I have go to waste. In all honesty, I was at a point where even just looking at another blank canvas would fill me with so much anxiety because I just kept thinking about having to start this painting all over again, and I wasn't sure if I was ready or willing to do that, which is why it took me so long to go ahead and finally complete it. But of course, I knew I had to tackle that fear eventually, so I finally just bit the bullet and was like, you know what? This is a really cool idea. This is exactly the direction that I want to take my art into going forward, and I would honestly be really disappointed in myself if I didn't just go for it and turn this idea into a reality. So I started, and then I painted over it, and then I started again until I was finally happy with where the painting was going. Just grabbing a big dollop of paint on my paintbrush and painting over the face of my heroine that I was not originally very happy with the initial sketch was honestly very, very therapeutic for me. I'm usually the kind of person, and I think I've talked about this in a previous YouTube video before, but I'm very much so the kind of person who doesn't like destroying my art. I am very meticulous in saving and recording everything that I have done in the past because, you know, I like looking back on the things that I've worked on and completed before. So this was a very, very new territory for me, destroying my art and kind of just letting go of any attachment that I had to what I was previously doing. That was a really, really difficult thing for me, but honestly, it felt so therapeutic and cathartic in a really interesting way, which includes a lot of destruction, a lot of starting over, a lot of painting over things that I've already done. And it was a really, really interesting experience overall. Where I left off in my previous video was going over the 4 stages of a butterfly's metamorphosis and how that transformation coincides with the growth patterns we experience throughout our entire lives as humans. Where a butterfly's metamorphosis takes place in stages with an inevitable finish line, our metamorphosis stages play out in more of a cyclical pattern that never truly comes to an end. Unless, of course, we come to an end. A butterfly's final stage, the adult phase, marks the debut of a new body, new wings, a new beginning that they carry with them until the day they die. On the flip side, a human's final metamorphosis stage isn't a curtain call on their growth. Once we reach our stage 4, our adult phase, a time inevitably comes where we cycle back to stage 1 again, the egg. Like I said previously in my last video about metamorphosis and all of the different cycles of a butterfly's metamorphosis, while we definitely come out of this a more experienced egg, we still cycle back to an egg nonetheless. Because life in itself is an endless pursuit of knowledge and understanding and growth, we never truly stop learning no matter how old we get. We never truly stop transforming and developing as we age. Even if we're all the way in our 90s, we're still learning tons of different things constantly. It may sound pretty exhausting to some, but I actually find it pretty comforting to know that rather than being a race to the finish line, life is actually more like a cycle, with each human being turning at their own pace. I'll be utilizing my synesthesia for this analogy, so please bear with me, but if we try to picture a person's life in the form of like a shape, rather than it just being a line from one straight end to the other, I like to actually picture it as more of a spiral. Not quite like a perfect circle with points that connect, since everyone's life comes to an end eventually, but our constant pursuit of knowledge, growth, understanding, and development continues to swirl around and around until, well, our bodies become one with nature, until the spiral comes to an end. Some of us have spirals that go on and on and on, and some of us, unfortunately, have very small spirals. I know a lot of you are probably familiar with the classic Junji Ito horror manga called Uzumaki, and might have a different, maybe even frightening concept of what a spiral could symbolize. But rather than life being like an inescapable spiral that just keeps going on and on for eternity, I more so like to envision it as having a start and end point that doesn't take on a linear straight path. It's not an endless vortex that goes on forever, but a path that cycles around and around at our own unique pace until we cease to exist. So I really wanted this painting to really hone in on that concept. I added in a lot of curls to her hair to symbolize the different cycles of life that we experience, how we're always in pursuit of something, and how those constant cycles can give way to both beauty and sadness at the same time. It was incredibly cathartic for me to paint this illustration because of all of these little details and little meanings that I added into this piece. You know, when I first worked on this painting in 2024, I felt like something was missing the entire time I was working on it, and it almost felt like there was a reason for it to get destroyed in the first place. In retrospect, when I really think about it, I kind of realized that as I was painting it back in 2024, I didn't really have a proper direction for exactly the story that I was trying to tell with that painting. And I feel like you can kind of see it if you were to look back on that sketch that I initially did. It just felt a little bit empty. Like, there were pretty elements to it. There was a pretty girl on there. There were pretty swans and pretty abstract flowers in there. But I feel like it wasn't really telling a story that I wanted to tell. I feel like it wasn't really telling a story at all. It's like I wanted to paint something with a lot of meaning, like I always tend to do in my artwork, because I love depicting topics of like mental health and daily life and things like that throughout all of my paintings, all of my illustrations, whether it's traditional or digital art. But at the time in 2024, I kind of felt like I wasn't quite ready to put that into practice on that painting just yet. Now I feel like I can finally say that I've grown a lot since I first started this painting in 2024. I feel like I can say that I know exactly where I want to take my art and the kind of subject matter that I want to do and the kind of stories that I want to portray going forward in all of my art pieces. And it really feels like this painting is a love letter to that, basically. I left off at a point where I said that this painting was truly my catalyst in the cycle of my current metamorphosis, and boy was I right. I feel like ever since completing this painting, I can see the world with clearer eyes and a new perspective. Obviously, nothing will ever be perfect, and I still have a mountain's worth of things in my life I still need to sort through, but it's the simple fact that I now know I can that makes all the difference in the world for me. I look at the me of December 2024, who was crying her eyes out, staring at a ruined canvas, and wish I could pat her on the back, honestly. Both 2024 and 2025 were low-key shit shows in their own ways for me, but I can definitely say that it gets worse before it gets much better. And I'm really, really looking forward to that hopefully ringing true now that we made it into 2026. Especially because apparently Leos are the luckiest zodiac in 2026, and I'm a Leo, so hopefully that bodes well for me. Sometimes it takes some level of destruction to finally give way to what you were looking for all along, and that's a very important lesson that I really want everyone to take in, no matter whether you're an artist like I am or just someone who likes watching YouTube videos. So I got these new little beads that I'm going to be using on this traditional painting, and I'm so excited because I've always wanted to do kind of like a multimedia style of painting and traditional artwork. I've seen it a lot online and like people adding little embellishments to their work, and I just really wanted to try something new and something really exciting because I really want to create like a really three-dimensional look with this illustration. And that's kind of why I decided to render out the water droplets a little bit more realistic compared to the rest of the painting, so that it really just like pops out at you and like jumps out at you. And I feel like with these beads, it's going to make the effect even better. So I'm so excited. Oh my god. Okay, so I have to decide what beads I want to use. I know there was like a clamshell one in here somewhere. So cute. This color is perfect. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. It's so tiny, but it's like a little seashell. It's so cute. I love it. I want to make that like the focal point on the top of the frame. I have like a vision in mind. And then I wanted to, okay, we have some like little beads here that are like, I keep calling them beads. I don't know if you would call these beads. They're like gemstones or something, but look it, it's like a little water droplet. And I think it would like go perfect with the rest of this piece. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. See? So I'm gonna use that. And then I wanted to use some sparkly ones. You guys know me in my artwork. I love adding sparkles to literally everything that I make. So this is like the perfect tiny little baby sparkle. And I love that all of these are like really iridescent, but like they have a little bit of a blue sheen to them as well. So I feel like it'll tie in really, really well with this painting. Ooh, wait. They have these like, these little flower ones. This is so cute, oh my god. And it's got like a little water droplet in it too. Oh my god, I'm gonna use this for sure. Look how cute that is. Oh my god, I love that. That's my favorite one out of all of them. I'm definitely using that for sure. Oh, and then there's like a pearlescent one. Yeah. Pearlescent. It's like a pearlescent kind of like teardrop, kind of, in a way. So I'm gonna be doing those, and oh my god, I'm so excited. As you can see, a lot of progress has been made. I don't know if you can see that. Here we go. There we go. See? So this is essentially what I'm gonna be doing. I decided to make the seashell the focal point on top, like I said I was initially going to do, and then I decided to make this the focal point on the bottom of the frame because I love this flower piece so much. And then I have the pearlescent teardrops, and I wanted to make this like a little bit different from the top, so I decided to add two on either side instead. So yeah. It looks so good, oh my god. I'm so excited because I've never really done something like this before with my paintings before, especially with my traditional paintings. I feel like I tend to rush through them a little bit, and I really just wanted to take my time with this one and fully flesh out every single idea that I had for it. And I feel like honestly, this is one of the best pieces I have ever made. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think it's so pretty, and adding the embellishments with the beads or the gemstones or whatever you want to call them, it's just gonna tie it all together and make it look so 3D and so cute. I'm so excited. Oh my god, okay. Let's glue them on. This is the part I'm scared about. I'm very scared about gluing them on. I'm gonna be using Gorilla Glue. I'm pretty sure this would be the right thing to use in this scenario. So I think super glue would be the best choice. I think, I hope, maybe I should Google that. Hold on, let me actually double check because now I'm scared. Okay, so this might be okay. I might be okay. This will be an experiment, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna be very, very careful though, and I'm not going to put a lot at all. I honestly had so much fun just going in and experimenting with this piece to the point where I ended up doing a lot of different things and different techniques that I have never done before, especially with my traditional art. Something that can combine both the 2D elements of it as well as some new 3D elements. So by adding in these new textural elements, if someone were to see the piece in person, it would be an experience that goes beyond just the 2D flat canvas painting. They'd see these really pretty gems and raised shapes that just really elevate the painting past a 2D experience. And here is the final painting. I absolutely love how this turned out. I feel like it is one of my best pieces yet, and I'm just so thrilled with how it turned out. It makes me so happy to look at and to see how far I've come as an artist and how much I've grown. And I just really love all of these little textural elements. I feel like they look so cool and they just add so much to this piece, and I am just really proud of it and so happy that I can finally show you guys. I've actually been really inspired by artists like Aya Takano, who create such beautiful, whimsical, surreal illustrations and paintings, and I really want to carry a lot of that energy into my body of work going forward. So I've decided to name this painting Swan Song. It's a symbol of growth, rebirth, and self-discovery, and I feel like it is the perfect painting to go along with this Metamorphosis series I've been doing. And with that, thank you so much for watching the final part to my Metamorphosis series, and for just watching this YouTube video as a whole. It means the absolute world to me, and I really appreciate you for being here. I learned so many things going into this painting, and I feel like I really came out of it a much better artist overall, both physically, mentally, and artistically as a whole. I hope that whether you're an artist like me, or you're a creative in another field, or even if you're just someone who likes watching YouTube videos and just thought my video seemed kind of interesting, I hope that there was something in this video and this Metamorphosis series that could resonate with you, and if not, then I hope that it was just very entertaining. So if you reach the end of this video, be sure to give it a like and leave me a blue heart emoji in the comment section below so that I know that you reached the end. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that you never miss an upload from me. And also go check out my art shop Prismano.com, because I still have a few of the Metamorphosis collection items up on my shop, still in stock, and that quantity is dwindling and getting very low, so definitely check that out before they sell out. Until next time, my friend.